What it is, y'all? It is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you tonight with... Well, we already got this update last night. We knew that Goblin Slayer was going to be the collab. This is now 100% confirmation, and I gotta say, as skeptical as I was at first, the art style really lends itself. Now, the story might be interesting. To be fair, I haven't watched enough Goblin Slayer to know, and this is more based on the movie, but tonally, I'm not really certain that it's going to match as much. But we'll see. We'll see. I will forego my prejudgment and see what happens when it drops. Either way, it's something we know they've been working on for a while, so I'm sure the story's going to be off the damn train. All right. Let's jump in here. All right. Boom. Notice it says part 1. There's going to be minimum 2 parts to this. I think 2 parts is what we've had confirmed. 2 parts to the story event, and notice you get a copy of Goblin Slayer. You get 1 bond of him for completing part 1. Now there's another free-to-play unit. He's not free-to-play. You still have to summon for him. This is just a bond, but basically it's like a heroic trial. Now we'll get to Goblin Slayer's unit here in a minute. There's, like I said, there's going to be a heroic trial, and I'm not 100% sold on this unit yet. I've really got to see how it does. But we'll go over all that when we get to the units, okay? So notice this is part 1 of the story. There's going to be a part 2. Looks like it's really going to go around Chigusa and Oka more than our main characters. But, yeah. Lego. Fencer. This is our new free-to-play unit. We'll talk about her. Now, you will not be able to MLB her through the first part. You'll have to MLB her in part 2. I believe she drops in the first part, but I'm not 100% about that. But I do know you have to wait till part 2 to MLB her. That is confirmed. Now, I'm going to warn you guys now. Don't waste this opportunity. While she's not the greatest thing, 100%, old girl is not going to be back. At least unless this gets a rerun, which we've only had 1 rerun ever. So I'm going to say right now, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say don't squander this opportunity to MLB this unit because you're probably not going to get another one. If you do miss out on this, you will 100% have to go use star bonds, and she is not worth star bonds, at least in my opinion. So make sure you MLB her. And when it comes to CP, I wouldn't go above like level 15 CP, at least for the time being, unless everybody else is maxed. Well, you'll see. You'll see when we talk about stats, okay? So, that is the free-to-play. Now, we said Familia Rush was coming. We were a little bit wrong. It's Familia Royale. Slightly different thing here, but it is still a Familia event. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, unfortunately, we are in the process of dropping a few people from the Familia. It sucks. I don't like doing it. But in order to keep our Familia, active, because that's the whole goal here. We want people that are active. We are going to have to kick a few people. We're going to do that tonight after the Dokkan stream. And then we're going to do a big push. And then basically by stream time tomorrow, we are going to have added a few more people into the Familia. So, if you want to join the Familia, in the description down below, there's a link to the Discord. Come join the Discord. You can join the Discord anyway. The Discord is open to everybody. The Familia section is kind of locked, only for people that are in the Familia currently. But the long and the short of it is, basically, if you want to join the Familia, there's a section of Familia applications. Fill out an application. It's really simple. Everybody's welcome to join. If you don't get accepted, it's no hard feelings. It's only because we are really... And we're not just looking for people that are like, going to be whales today and leave next week. We're looking for people that have staying power, that are interested in participating. That's the big thing. We want full participation on this. We want to rank higher than we ever have before. And our ranks have just done nothing but go up and up and up every single time. So, we're looking forward to this. So, join the Familia. Everything's in the description down below. Alright? Let's move on to the units. Goblin Slayer himself. Now, these stats are not bad. You will actually get triple S's with just a little bit of CP. I think the triple S stat for strength starts at like 2,000. I forget where this one starts, but I think if you give this guy a little bit of CP, he'll have, I think he'll upgrade probably to maybe get an S stat down below. I don't know if he'll even get that, but he'll at least have one, if not two, triple S stats and maybe another double S somewhere along the line. Let's talk about what he does, though, okay? Now, this is why I firmly believe there probably is another Goblin Slayer unit as part 2. And when we're talking about these units, let me just go ahead and preface this by saying, now, don't go crazy. Don't just run out there and try to MLB all these units, because there is 100% of part 2. And I firmly believe, this guy being a support, there probably is going to be an even better adventure Goblin Slayer coming along the pike. Now, math this out. If you hit all 4 of the banners, there's 2 banners part 1. I'm sure there's going to be 2 banners in part 2. It's usually the way that works. If you can try to go all in, that's 16,000 Iris. Now, I said I was going to save 8,000 Iris. That's because I've got a ton of star bonds, and I'm not afraid to use them. So when it comes to these units, my goal is to MLB as many of them as possible. But I'm going to be real. Goblin Slayer, we know he's had a heroic trial. Plus, you get a bond from the story event. I don't know if I'm going to chase him, but let's talk about what he does. Skill 1. Foes, plural, critical and penetration rate, and physical resist and dark resist, minus 30% for 4 turns. He's a really good debuffer. Skill 2. Mid-dark physical attack with ultra on guard rate. Foes, single target, and AoE resist, minus 20%. So he's the anti-Galamus in that regard. Skill 3, foe, singular, super dark physical attack with high penetration rate, with strength boost for 3 turns, self-strength and dark damage plus 40%. So he's not going to be the craziest hitter you've ever had. I'm got news for you there. That said, SA. Talk about this SA. His SA is a foe, singular attack. Ultra dark physical attack, damage plus 60% per self-strength buff. And that's for 3 turns. Self, strength, and dark damage plus 90%. And I think that's actually what's for 3 turns. I think he's going to get physical damage plus 60% per strength buff. And then for 3 turns, he'll get a self, strength, and dark damage plus 90%. That kind of, it's worded weirdly. These translations get a little weird sometimes. I think that's the way that's going to work out. I think the last part's for 3 turns, and that 60% is for the 1 turn. So either way, he's going to hit like a beast once he does that. So, like with some of our other units, if you're actually able to spam his SA, get the 2 debuffs in, spam SA, you'll be in a good state. Okay? Let's talk about Priestess. Here's Priestess. All right. Oh, girl. Now, she's actually one that I'm after. If you like Haruhime, you're going to like her. Okay? First skill. Foes, plural, strength and magic minus 35% for 3 turns. Allies, 35% regen. That doesn't say HP or MP, but I'm going to guess that's HP regen. Because 35% MP regen is going to be really OP, in fact. So that strength and magic 35% is, I think, Haruhime is 40%, but her HP regen is 30%. So this being 35, you split the difference, okay? Now, so first skill is like Haruhime. Second skill is like Line. Fast, allies, SA gauge 33% for 4 turns. Foes, low thunder magic attack with ultra uncounter rate. So, she can hit, and she probably won't get countered unless she's got, unless that person's got a crazy counter rate, or is just insanely lucky. And this being fast, it's going to be one of the first things you get off. So, everybody's SA gauge is going to increase substantially. If you like Line, you can like old girl. Let's get back to some Haruhime-isms here. Third skill, foe, singular, super thunder magic attack with temporary magic boost, allies status buff, and foes status debuff, plus 2 turns. So she doesn't attack. Where Haruhime doesn't attack with her debuff, she doesn't attack with the, basically the status replication. So, pretty awesome that. So she's like, skill 1 Haruhime, skill 2 Line, skill 3 Haruhime SA, foe, now this is singular, ultra thunder magic attack with temporary magic boost, and ally strength and magic plus 80% for 3 turns. Haruhime, I know it's 100%, but 80% is no joke. Like, 80% is no joke. Literally, you can basically split the difference between Line and Haruhime, and you got old girl here. Now, it doesn't say what her counter is, so I don't think she has that same counter heal. We'll have to see what happens when she drops. I do have other notes on passives, so I don't think she's going to replace Haruhime. But she is definitely going to make a place in your stall team. That's for absolute damn certain. She's actually pretty awesome, and I'm 100% going after her. Let's talk about High Elf. High Elf. Their stats, once again, she's on the cusp of at least 2 triple S's. She is an absolute beast. Now, the only thing that sucks is she is on Goblin Slayers. She's on his banner. So, unless you have absolutely just been chilling on Iris, I don't know. I really want her, though. Let's talk about what she does. High Elf. Skill 1. Fast Self, Dex and Thunder damage plus 60%, and allies, Dex and Thunder 30% for 5 turns. Okay? Skill 2. Foes, plural. Slow super physical attack with ultra penetration and skill damage plus 60% on stunned targets and self-strength 60% for 3 turns. So, she gets that Dex and Thunder 60% on that first one. Everyone else gets Dex and Thunder 30%, so she's a good support and a good hitter. Skill 2 is kind of the interesting caveat here. So it only really works on stunned targets, but then she gives herself that strength 60% for 3 turns. Here's what's crazy about this. So that's a slow attack, right? I almost think you could come out of the gate with that because being a slow attack is going to be one of the last attacks to get off, and her passive skill is a 90% stun on counterattacks. So, give her a good counter, increase her counter rate, let her counterattack, and let her stun a couple of people, and then go in there for that Wild Night Crazy number 2, and then you can almost hit number 1. So you can go like 2-1-3 on her. It's really interesting. Or you could go 1-3, and then after everyone's stunned, hit 2. It's really, really weird. But she's going to have a really interesting and a varying amount of different types of builds you could do with her. She's really, really cool. But a Physical Thunder unit nonetheless. Skill 3 of Old Girl. Foe singular, high physical attack with ultra critical. With ultra critical and skill damage plus 30%. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Foe singulars, these are sometimes written a little weird. Foe singular, high physical attack with ultra critical rate. Okay, with ultra critical rate, period. Skill damage plus 30% for each self dex buff. So you have to do 1 before you do 3. Now, 2 kind of requires your passive to go off. So she's going to have an interesting build there. She's a really interesting unit. But all in all, I really want Old Girl. It just sucks the banner she's on. We'll talk about the banners in a moment, though. Okay? Her SA, Thunder Foes, Thunder Ultra Physical Attack with Ultra Unguard Rate and Physical Resist and Thunder Resist minus 30% for 3 turns. So even a debuffer on her SA. Really interesting that. SA might be a hair underwhelming, but I bet she's still going to hit like a truck. We'll see all the SAs after this, but let's talk about Oka first. Oka looking like an absolute badass. And he comes out of the gate with a triple S stat. Out of the damn gate with a triple S stat. Let's talk about what he does. Skill 1. Foes. Plural. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Skill 1 is a fast self. Strength, dark, guard rate, and counter rate. Plus 40% for 5 turns. Strength, dark, guard rate, and counter rate. All 40% for 5 turns. That's kind of ridiculous. 40% is not anything to really write home about when it's 2 skills. When it's 4 skills, that's kind of gets interesting. And we've got other units that can increase that. So, yeah, let's see what happens here. Skill 2, Foes, plural, high dark physical attack with high penetration rate, temporary strength boost, self-status buff, plus 2 turns, and 10% HP drain. Okay? So basically, he doesn't need Haruhime. He just basically gets all those buffs. It's like, cool, I am keeping those. Skill 3. Foe. High penetration, or dark high penetration rate with ultra critical rate with temporary strength boost and taunt. And interestingly enough, his passive is a 60% taunt on counter. So, he's a taunt machine. He's an absolute taunt machine. Throw this guy into Wargame and just watch him taunt everybody. Like, legit, nobody's getting AoEs while he's on the field. He's going to be ridiculous. Really, really, really interesting unit, and he's on the better of the two banners, in my opinion. So definitely a unit that I'm 100% after. Cool. Let's move on to... Oh, we didn't talk about his SA. SA is foes, plural. Dark Ultra physical attack with Ultra Unguard rate. Skill damage plus 50% for each dex buff. So he's got to keep that dex buff in play, but it's a self-dex buff. I don't think the external dex buffs work. So if you override his dex buff, I don't think it works. But with that 40% dex buff, he's going to be pretty beastly. We'll talk about the SAs here in a minute, but let's first talk about Fencer. Remember when I said I don't think she's too crazy? Now, the more I really look at these stats, the more I begin to think, like, you know, being free to play, she'll probably compare to, like, units from last year. So probably not the worst. Not by a long shot. Let's talk about what she does. Allies, skill 1, allies 20% HP regen and self, strength, and thunder, 25% for 4 turns. That's not really anything to write home about, especially when you've got these stats. But, once again, she's free to play. Skill 2, foes, plural, fast, low thunder physical attack with temporary strength and magic removal, except assist skills. Now that's interesting. We have not seen a free-to-play unit that actually has the strength and magic both removal. I don't think, I could be wrong on that, but I don't think we've seen one that does both of those. So she's going to be a good record buster unit for some people that may not have those other units. Especially my friends in the EU. You guys that don't have a ton of those units, keep a keen eye on her. She's going to be really, really, really good for record buster. Okay? Which we actually have coming up this week. Third skill, mid-thunder physical attack with high penetration rate and foe, strength and magic minus 25% for 4 turns. Once again, I don't think it's anything to write home about, but, you know, she's got a buff, a debuff, and that strength and magic removal all in one unit. It's a well-rounded, very nice, just general use, I guess you could call it balanced, free-to-play unit. But again, those stats, really nothing to write home about. That's it. We'll say once again, guys. Definitely get all the bonds. Definitely MLB her. Don't use those bonds for Sirius. You will be sad because you'll get basically for MLBing her, you get 50 iris, 60 iris. For getting her CP up, you're going to get tons more iris. Like, legitimately, old girl could get you another multi just by MLBing her. So there's just really no reason not to do it. It maths out. It actually does math out. We've done the math on that before. Okay? So definitely worth the MLB. All right. Let's talk about Cowgirl. Cowgirl here. Allies, strength and magic plus 15% and HP regen plus 15%. All allies. Now, that does mean it's going to be like 5%, then 10%. You'll have to MLB here to get 15 across the board. But let me just say that strength and magic, we have those separately, and we have HP regen separately. So we have all those units that do the 15% standalone, some even north of 20%, but we don't have one that does all 3 of those. So she's 3 decent units smashed into one really good unit. You better believe I'm going after old girl. 100% going after old girl. That is a very useful assist. Very useful assist. And she's already got an double S stat, which is not common for assists. Now, we also have Chigusa here. Okay? Chigusa, is allies and endurance, agility, and dex plus 10%. Foes 80% slow. I'm just looking at the outfits, and I'm gonna guess that Chigusa and Oka have been sucked into the Goblin Slayer world. I'm just guessing that's the story that's gonna be, because they don't look like typical Danmachi clothes. They look more like Goblin Slayer clothes. So we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, Chigusa. Endurance, agility, and dex 10%. Foes 80% slow. So we already covered that. I already have units that do slow. Endurance, agility, and dex 10% isn't really, in my opinion, something to write home about. I could be underselling that myself, but I don't know that I'm going to go too crazy for her, because while slow is a good stat, I don't really think it's the craziest thing, personally. But let's watch the essays, and let's see what happens here, because I could be drastically underselling this. So let's take a look here and see what we see in what was dropped last night. Okay, now remember, this is a triple combo. Could hit harder with a 4x combo, but that's okay. Not quite half a mil. Now, I don't know how much, if any, CP they have in these units. So there might still be some growth in there. But thus far, hitting really, really well. All right. High Elf was a lot lower than I expected, but alright. Lightning Goo. Alright. 400k solid. Now, remember, this is the double combo, and there's a reason for this. So Goblin Slayer's gonna hit 4. That SA is ridiculous. SA is so good. 300k. Alright. Protection. Alright. Another 400k. Now, I'm going to pause it here at a very critical moment. So, good looking super attacks, I will say. Great animation on the super attacks. 67. All of that, and they only did 67,000. Now, that's the new combo. That new combo is, in my opinion, extraordinarily underwhelming. My opinion. 100% my opinion. I don't know if they're going to have another combo attack that might do better than that, but it's not going to be as important to pair these two up. Even though they have a combo, it is not going to be Argonaut and Crosso. That's for damn certain. For damn certain. Yeah, so those are the essays. Old Girl's actually, she's really, really, really good, and especially her doing that much damage for her support is amazing. The rest of that kind of leaves me underwhelmed, if I'm entirely honest here. Really does. But let's talk about banners, guys. Let's talk about banners, okay? So Goblin Slayer, High Elf, and Chigusa are all on one banner. And I get what they did there, because then obviously Priestess is going to be on the other banner, and you're going to want to hit both banners in order to get the two for the combo. But I'm going to tell you right now, Goblin Slayer, remember, he's got a heroic trial coming up, and you get a bond of him. I don't think he's one to chase. High Elf, I'm going to go a little bit on, but I'm really going to hit the other banner first, because I really think Chigusa isn't someone that I'm going to lose my mind over. I'll really have to fart around with her and see what she does, but at the end of the day, I really think those stats are a hair on the underwhelming side. Not the worst stats ever by a long shot, but just not stats I think I'm ever going to use. Personally, if you disagree, definitely tell me in the comment section down below, but I think that's my current opinion on that, okay? Banner number 2. This is the banner I'm going to be going all the way on. I'm going to be going all the way to 10. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, we had a whole discussion about this with the last banners that were around. A lot of people were asking, should I go 11, 12, 13 rounds in a banner? No. No, 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 no. 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 Maybe if you have a crap ton of Iris, these banners are a possibility. Well, the biggest issue you've got here, and I'm going to be completely honest, once you go past that 10th round, you have no more guaranteed 4 stars. None. So that's the point at which you're like, cool, I should start dropping some star bonds at folks, right? Because, like, the only thing is, these banners are not going to come back. If they come back, it's going to be minimum a year. Minimum a year. Data Live wasn't quite a year, but it was pretty close. I don't foresee these coming back, ever. Ever. And these are great units. So, but we've got a part 2 coming up with 2 more banners that I'm going to go on a limb and say at least one of those units are going to be comparable to Katori. So, my opinion is save some damn Iris. It's going to cost you 4,000 to go to round 10. It's going to cost you 4,000 more to go to round 10 here. If you follow me, I'm sitting on 8,000 Iris. So that means I go all the way to the end of this one. If I go all the way to the end of this one, I have nothing for part 2. Nothing. So you got to plan accordingly, guys. You got to plan accordingly. That said, I am going all the way to the end of this one, and I'm going to be farming some Iris, and I'm going to wail a little bit because I did say I was going to. It was kind of what I had planned to do anyway. So, these are the banners, guys. I think this one is your better banner of the 2. Okay? Those are the banners. Those are the banners, and we talked about the Heroic Trial. High Elf and Goblin Slayer both on this Heroic Trial, which means we'll probably get a Heroic Trial for Oka and Priestess. So, do bear that in mind. I would leave 1 bond unattained. So, like, let's say you hit the banner, and you have them both at +4. Probably time to bow out. Consider putting some star bonds into Cowgirl. You know? Probably time to really consider that. Just my 2 cents in the matter. Because you can expect another Heroic Trial here in just a little bit. New whale boxes. Your old boy going to be taking advantage of these for the first time in a while. I will say there's a current whale box up for grabs that's 300 paid Iris. I think that's worth. 300 paid Iris is $20, and you get a 4-star 11 draw out of it. And I think that's what this one right here is going to be. This is usually 100 Iris. This is usually 300 Iris, all paid, and those are usually like either 12 or 1600 Iris. These 2 are 100% worth. Completely 100% worth. My opinion. Remember, if you do the monthly lunchbox, your first underpaid Iris go towards that. So, just throwing that little knowledge nugget at you, as we tend to say. Now, this is all for part 1. Part 2 will have its own. Part 2 is going to have some more. So, if you don't want to spend it now, I don't blame you. You can wait and see what part 2 brings. But your old boy's going to be taking advantage of these. 100%. 100%. New login bonuses! And notice we're getting a lot of souvenirs. We're going to be these crazy amounts of souvenirs, I feel like, because obviously you're going to want to raise CP of all these units. And with CP now at 50, where it was at 30 last year, hopefully we'll get another 200, at least CP, in hopefully each one. I have no information on that, but I'm going to gather here. There's 50 CP there, or 50 souvenirs there. Another 50 over there, 100 souvenirs there. I'm gonna hope at least 100 souvenirs or 200 souvenirs are attainable per part. Hope. We'll see. We'll see. It might just be 100, but we'll see. Fingers crossed. But good login bonuses there. Great stuff. Okay. We talked about it. Rivera is back tonight with a, not tonight, tomorrow night. And she'll be a light type, so plan accordingly. Good stuff, that. And we have 1,000 CP incoming overall. 1,000 CP incoming. Plan accordingly, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, spending that CP, I said CP, I'm sorry, 1,000 Iris incoming. Spending your Iris right now isn't a bad idea. You'll have plenty of time to save for the, you got basically 5 months to save, 4 months to save, 5 months to save, it's like June, to save for the next big event, which is going to be the rerun of Argonaut and Krazo, and then obviously the new 3rd anniversary event. So, yeah, my opinion, spend it all now and start saving again, because it's really not hard to gather a lot of Iris very quickly if you're actively playing the game. So, that's what's coming, guys. Now, like I said before, I believe all this drops on Thursday instead of Wednesday. That's the information we have thus far. That could change. We could get more information on that, but that is the information as I have it at the moment. So, let me know what y'all think in the comments section down below. I know it was a long video, but there was a lot to cover. So, we'll be back with more Danmachi tomorrow. I am spent at this damn point, and we've got Dokkan. We got Dokkan livestream coming up at 9. So, see y'all on the next one, if not a Dokkan tonight.